What's up, football fans? It is time for your NFL week number 3. Count them 1, 2, 3 for picks and predictions. Before we even get underway, let's recap week number 222 because, as you guys can tell, going with 11-5, we did quite well. A potential to go 13. A potential there, starting off on Monday night, to go 13-3. Unfortunately, it just wasn't in the wheelhouse. It was not in the cards. But that puts us back up even Steven square with a total score of 20 wins to 12 losses thus far. Not too shabby, not too shabby. We made up that lost point. We could have made up more, but I decided to throw a Hail Mary attempt there on Monday Night Football. But we'll talk about it. Because I don't believe any of the picks changed from week number 2, the video. So let's just go underway. Start off with Thursday night. Almost everyone and their dog picked Philadelphia. And with good reason, though Minnesota did show up to the game. Then, for Sunday, we had a lot. Let's just straight up say it. We had a ton of so close matches. Matches that could have went this way or that way. So for anybody who didn't do well this week versus people like me who did, realistically speaking, it could have easily gone the other way, right? It's where the shoe fell more than anything. Starting off with the first game, I picked Green Bay. Atlanta won by just 1 point, starting off with a loss. But then you jump to Buffalo. Buffalo dominated Las Vegas. No surprise there. Buffalo showed up in week number 2, shaking off that rust. Then we had Seattle. This was the big one. So many people picking Seattle to defeat, I skipped a game there. It was Cincinnati-Baltimore. Now, once again, a close game. Only a field goal in the difference. 27-24 for Baltimore. That game easily could have gone in Cincinnati's favor and stuff like that. So the Ravens picked as an underdog pick, but still they came out on top. Then, as I said, I skipped the game, but Seattle. So many people saying Detroit. And such a close game. Easily could have gone in the Lions' favor. But too many people, as I said last week, put so much emphasis on the fact that they beat a very disorganized and not all at full strength Kansas City Chiefs. And so Detroit elevated itself well beyond its station, in my opinion, and in the fans' opinion. And Seattle, who is not really anything more than an average team at best, did prove that that's all Detroit is. They kept them on their toes, and they ended up squeaking out a win, 37-31. I believe that one was overtime. And then we jump over to Tennessee and the Chargers. I picked Tennessee, another one where people were saying, Chargers. I don't get why people say pick the Chargers. When was the last time the Chargers were really an all-star team? When? Because everyone always says, every year, you got to go with the Chargers. Why? I have never heard them making waves in the last few seasons. I don't get this love for the Chargers, but I went with the Titans, and lo and behold, we squeak out another win. Because that one was another field goal difference game. Then Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, they defeated Chicago pretty handily there. I mean, they could have done a bit of a better showing. The Bears did show up, but Tampa Bay is obviously the stronger team. Kansas City did defeat Jacksonville, but that was an odd game, that one. That was not. I flipped around to that one every once in a blue moon, and I was just like, this game, like, the score was, it was like, what is going on? So I didn't really see the highlights of that one as to why the score was so low. But yeah, 17-9 there. We did pick the Chiefs like a lot of people. That was easy. Now, this one, once again, could have gone in my favor, but 31-20. The Colts are better than Houston. The Colts might be a bad team. Houston is probably worse, but it was once again another long ball. I was throwing quite a few long balls this week, and some of them should have worked out. Some of them obviously did work out with 11 wins. I picked Baltimore, I picked Tennessee, and I picked Seattle. I have 3 solid picks that the majority went against, especially that Seattle pick. So picking Houston was just one of those Hail Marys that did not work out for me. Jumping over to San Francisco, beating the Rams. It was pretty obvious, but the Rams are showcasing that they can show up. I think these Rams are going to be a contender. They were fighting one of the strongest teams in the NFC, if not one of the strongest teams in the NFL. So the fact that they held them to a one-possession game, I'm here for it. I'm good with that score, and it means that I will not be choosing against the Rams just because they lost to the 49ers. And lo and behold, the Giants coming back from 60-point deficit if you add up the Cowboys game. Not scoring for 60 points against, but coming out to beat the Arizona Cardinals. Does that make them look great now they finally turned on the engine? Or is this just they happened to Arizona screwed up? I'm going to be curious to see what the matchup is for week number 3 here, but I'm feeling odd about the Giants. The Giants are right now. We need more information before we can really say how the Giants are faring as a team overall. Then of course, Dallas beating the Jets. Obvious pick. They did win. Should they have won stronger? Maybe. Some people are saying that, but I mean, a win is a win, and it's more than a possession. I mean, my guys are tired, man. My Cowboys are tired. They scored 40 points and added nothing on a defensive score. So I'm just saying, after scoring 40-0, they were a little tired, Scoring 70 points in 2 weeks. I mean, yeah, I'm really disappointed. No. Anyways, the Cowboys obviously solid, doing well, as that's why I picked them. Washington squeaking out a win. This one would have been my choice because I don't mind that Atlanta won and I didn't pick them. I don't mind that Houston lost and I picked them. Where I start to go a little odd is I said Washington. I had a funny feeling because Denver's weird. I like Russell Wilson. I do. I think I liked him as a Seahawk more. I think this Broncos thing, Broncos has been odd. The only reason I gave them any credit or due was because of Peyton Manning back in the day. And now, Denver and the Chargers feel like the exact same team. You never know what team is going to show up. Are they going to put 40 points on the board or 7? I have no idea any week, any matchup with these guys. So, Washington won that one. Fair enough. Then Miami beating New England, though only by a possession. Still, Miami, the Dolphins win out. Then we jump into Monday Night Football. And Monday Night Football is where everything goes downhill. I changed my New Orleans pick, as I believe you guys know. I originally picked New Orleans, then I went with the Panthers because I don't trust New Orleans nor Derek Carr. And I don't really care for Derek Carr. So I said, you know what? I think the Panthers got this. They got their new rookie, blah, blah, blah. I think he's going to make some waves. Now, am I upset that they lost the game? Obviously, because had Carolina won, I would have won the week. I would have won the week handily because nobody at the time, everyone was tied with, what were we tied with? 9 points or something? No, 11 points. Everyone in the running was tied with 11 points going into Monday Night Football. Or the 6 people were, me being one of the 6. And everyone had chosen New Orleans except for me. Meaning that as long as everyone picked the same for the next game, it was going to work out. And what happened? All the leaders, all 6, picked the Browns to beat the Steelers. So, whoever wins, so if anybody picks different, whether Pittsburgh or Carolina, and gets it right, they would have won. So this was an unfortunate where my luck from Sunday ran out finally with my picks. Instead of picking the Steelers to beat the Browns and choosing the favorite New Orleans, I went reverse. And unfortunately, neither game worked out. Had I reversed just one of those picks, I might have won the week. Had I reversed both of those picks, I definitely would have won the week by a point. But unfortunately, from Sunday night into Monday, with 2 Monday games, an odd feeling, I stayed stuck at 11, which 11 is a great way to end a week. Not so much when there's 2 more games to go and you stay at 11. It sort of fell flat at the end of Monday night because I picked Carolina. But all that proved to me, because neither team looked very good, and everyone says bet on New Orleans defense? You mean everyone's shitting on the Carolina Panthers offense and they still scored on, Their defense didn't look so stellar. If they can't stop apparently one of the worst offenses handily, which they did not do, I didn't see a great team out there. I saw 2 average football teams going at it that were on roughly the same level, with the Saints having a little more talent on their roster. That's all I saw. If anybody thought that that was a clean win by New Orleans, I would be pissed off as a Saints fan. And I would be pissed off as a Panthers fan for other reasons, but I don't think I'm picking the Saints with any true amount of, yep, we got a guarantee for the next couple weeks until they start showing up, because that was a bad performance on both ends. And then Cleveland losing to the Steelers, that was just weird. That one was odd, and I don't think this means Cleveland's bad. I think maybe Pittsburgh did something. Once again, I was so focused on the Carolina game because that's the one that mattered. As I said, everyone picked Cleveland, who was in the running, and everyone picked New Orleans, so the Carolina pick is all that mattered to me. So I stayed focused on that game. Not really sure what happened to the Browns, but the Steelers won out only by 4 points, but still, that's the end of that. We ended up tying for second, I believe. Yeah, we tied for second because everyone lost that one. But I tied with a lot more people than intended. We go up in the rankings up to about 14th, I believe, here. It'll be up there. But yeah, so either way, that was week 2. The recap. Let's jump into our picks for week number 3. Starting us off with the Thursday night game, we look no further than the San Francisco 49ers going to destroy the Giants later on tonight. That is just obvious to me, and I think it's obvious to just about everybody. Whether the Giants show up for a good performance or not remains to be seen, so pay close attention to this game, because depending on how well the Giants do, regardless whether they lose, that's going to determine whether you pick them in following weeks, now that they finally turned the engine on and actually scored some points as of last week. Then we jump into, of course, our Sunday games. This one is actually a lot harder for me to pick than last week. I liked my upsets last week. Obviously not the Monday night games, but I liked my upsets last week. This one, I'm not picking as many, and I'm concerned about that. I'm still trusting in the Cleveland Browns up against the Tennessee Titans. That's probably one of my hardest picks right there. I have a few that I'm not too happy with, but I'm going to stick in with the Cleveland Browns to beat Tennessee for the sole purpose that they're at home. I'm giving them the 3 points. Well, if this was at Tennessee, I think I'd be picking Tennessee. But yeah, I can see this one going either way. So that was more of a coin flip than anything else. And as we always said, you give 3 points at home. I got to give it to Cleveland. Detroit, Atlanta, another one. Feel like sort of giving it to Atlanta, but I'm going to go with Detroit. I think they're pissed off that they lost to the Seahawks and stuff, so I think they're going to come in swinging up against the Falcons and prove that they are a bit of a contender, even though the Falcons just beat an Aaron Rodgers-less Packers, but still Packers nonetheless. So I don't know, but I went with Detroit. I went with the favorite on that one. Green Bay against New Orleans. Now this one was an easy choice. Who put up points against the Falcons? Who couldn't barely put up points against the Panthers? I rest my case. 17 points scored by the Carolina Panthers, and you expect me, with this supposed defense, to pick against Green Bay and to pick the Saints? Forget about it. Green Bay all the way. That was an easy choice for me. Whether New Orleans finally turns on their engines and shows a much better performance, I don't know. But either way, I'm going with the Packers. Then we got Miami over Denver. That's an easy pick for obvious reasons. Chargers, forget about it. Minnesota. The Vikings at least can do something. The Chargers should have won games, failed to win games. Minnesota, realistically, they should be 1-1 in all honesty. They should be. So, but I got more faith in the Vikings than I do in the Chargers, because the Vikings may lose games they should win, but the Chargers, they're a complete roller coaster. All right, so yeah, I'm going with the Vikings on that one, even though it's considered an underdog pick. Then New England Jets. I'm going with the Jets at home. I am going to go with the Jets. I feel like they were trying very hard. The fact that they scored 10 points and kept the Dallas Cowboys to 30, realistic, once again, just no different than watch the Giants up against San Francisco. When you have a weaker team up against one of the top teams, you have to watch how well that team that knows they probably won't win this game, how they perform under that pressure and how they can do. Yes, you have cockiness on the other side. You have arrogance on the other side of the field. Exploit it. See if you can make big plays happen and still stay in the game all the way. Watch out for that game. I think that the Jets can win up against New England. Especially, once again, a non-Tom Brady New England. I got more faith, honestly, in other teams in that division nowadays. Then speaking of that division, Buffalo over Washington is an easy choice for me. Washington did good to win their game last week, but Buffalo is still one of the bigger contenders in this thing, and I don't think they're going to make the same mistakes, and I don't think they're going to lose to Washington. So Jacksonville over Houston, pretty obvious. Same with Baltimore over Indianapolis. Seattle over Carolina. Another, like, these ones are more obvious. I'm happy with from Buffalo, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Seattle, Kansas City, and Dallas. Those are all so easy to pick. Most of the 5:30 games are so easy to choose, so easy to pick. And then, of course, because of how about them Cowboys up against, on paper, apparently the worst team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals. I'm sorry, Dallas. Unless they start snoozing and decide, yeah, we're not even going to try. I don't think they're going to act like that this early in the season. I hate when they do that at the end of the season. But the Cowboys have got this. They've got this hard. Then we have, I'm choosing Pittsburgh over Vegas. If the Steelers can go and take advantage, I didn't watch the game, but if the Steelers can beat the Browns, and I would pick the Browns over Vegas, then I think it's fair to say that I might as well pick the team that beat the team I would pick. That's a fun tongue twister. Either way, yeah, I'm going with the Steelers for another upset. I'm picking too many favorites this week, and I'm unsure about my 2 o'clock picks, so I'm going with a little bit here at the end. Going into Monday night, a double Monday night again. This is weird to me. This is weird. I don't know if I like this. I'm not sure if I like this whole double Monday thing because I only focus on one game. I'm not one of those people that flip back and forth on Monday. No, I pick my game and I watch it and I end up missing another game. It's always been Thursday night, one game, Monday night, one game, Sunday night, one game, and then you have Sunday football. That's the way it works. I don't know why they're changing it this year, but either way, Eagles up against Tampa Bay. Still going to go with the Eagles. I feel like this will stay, though, a one-possession game. I feel like Tampa Bay is going to turn on the heat and force the Eagles to actually show up and try. And if they lose, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles actually lose. But I'm not willing to choose it for... I'm trying to almost reverse what I did last week. I'm going with the sure thing, which was Philadelphia, which was New Orleans last Monday night. You know, I'm sort of reversing my picks here. I'm going with the Eagles, and then against Cincinnati, I'm going with the Rams. The Rams so far, I've been right so far. I'm 2-0 on my Rams picks, so let's try to go 3-0 on that one. Cincinnati, I don't know if they're ready. Maybe they really just need to. I don't know what Cincinnati needs to change. They're supposed to be this high-level contender. And though their games aren't exactly blowouts, they just don't seem, except, actually the first one was. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with Cincinnati. Maybe it's beginning of the season jitters or something. I'm not sure, but I have more faith in the Rams, so we're going with that one. The Yahoo tiebreakers make absolutely no sense. Their rules are bullshit, so we won't even discuss that. Suffice it to say, I won't be betting on that. I fill them out, but I never win them because they're kind of shit. So either way, those are my picks. Those are my picks for week number 3. Are they subject to change? Of course they are. Every week, due to injuries or last-minute roster changes, something like that, they're, of course, always subject to change. But for this week, I think we're good to lock these ones in. I don't think we actually had any changes from last week's video because by the time I made the editing for last Thursday, I had already changed my pick, which I believe was New Orleans, Carolina, which unfortunately was the thing that screwed me out of being a potential winner for the week, but I don't know if I would have won those tiebreakers. Those tiebreakers are weird, really weird. Like, there's 18 rules for the tiebreakers, man, and what you fill out has basically nothing to do with the tiebreaker. So, yeah. Anyways, that's the end of it for me, guys. Are you ready for some football tonight and into this Sunday? I'm looking forward to it. Let's go Cowboys, as we always do. How about them Cowboys? And we'll see you guys back here for week number 4 of the NFL picks and predictions. Let's try to score another 11. Let's keep that money rolling. Let's score for another 11. Let's try to get above our average of 10 points. Once again, if you don't average at least 10 points, 10 wins a week, it's unlikely you're even going to be in the running for any money by the end of the season. So let's try to keep this momentum going. We have 9, now 11. We're back to square one. Let's try to go up and get at least 31 points this week going into week 4. So that's it for me, guys. See you back here next time. Watch some football. See ya.